Hello and welcome to First Reform Take. It's the NBA round two preview, round one reflection, and Seth is here, but I
Hello.
have to begin with a monologue. I have to apologize to the folks. This is going to be a downer episode because the Celtics are dead and buried. It's all over, as is life, as is everything. Um, it's not looking good, folks, for my green teamers. Um, we lost one game to the Knicks, and the sound you hear is me cracking a Sam Adams in despair. I'm not doing well with it. We shot 15 from 60 from the line. Now, is this a case of emotional transference where all of my problems are going on to the Boston Celtics and one bad shooting game? Fucking maybe. But you know what? It's real to me, damn it. And so it's bad. I would say it's all over and the Thunder are gonna win the finals, but then they lost to the Nuggets. So Timberwolves win. Stupid playoffs. I don't know. Seth, how are you doing?
I was too bummed out to record Monday between the Cavs losing game one and the Warriors beating the Thunder, beating the Rockets in a
You're getting ahead of yourself.
decidedly uncompetitive game. But now after the results from last night, which saw
Mm,
the Celtics and the Thunder lose in truly abominable fashion
yep.
at home. I'm Joker pilled now. I am clear pilled on the NBA playoffs. I am genuinely hopeful that the funniest outcome happens, that all of the top seeds just poop themselves in truly dramatic fashion. Um, Even as we speak, the Cavs are blowing a what was
Yeah, it
the
was like
lead?
20, I think, at some point. It was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
big.
they
It was
had
15. They're up
yeah, they had
12,
a
but
yeah, had a, about a 13 or 14 point lead, and now it's down to 11, and shrinking. Now it's down to 9 as Jared Allen coughs up a turnover.
you're far ahead of me in this game. This TV is so slow. But
Yeah, 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 you know, but yeah, we were planning initially on doing on a first round post-mortem, I think is the term we bandied about. Um, we will sort of poke a little bit into what has so far been a very hilarious second round.
yeah, round two's been fun, I
Round two has been
guess.
very funny.
I
Not
hate
fun.
it.
It has been funny. It has been objectively funny so far. It'll be slightly less funny when the Warriors beat the Timberwolves tonight, despite the Warriors being a right now a 6.5 point dog. I think the line did shift from seven and a
That's too
half.
large.
I
That's
don't
too
get that.
large.
I don't get that. Golden State
I
went
don't get
three
that
and
either.
one against Minnesota, and I think most of those games happened before they got Jimmy Butler. Yeah, when was the Butler trade? Like February, right?
Yeah, I genuinely like the Timberwolves as a dark horse to win the title. I could see it being that stupid. I don't respect, like, I respect Anthony Edwards, okay? Like, to the
Yeah,
level you have to, but
yeah.
I'm not one of those Anthony Edwards guys. And I don't know. You know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're
The
talking
Anthony
about.
Edwards guys. They're
I
there.
I would
A
also
lot of them are
say,
like 12.
I mean, we're still well, I mean, that makes a certain amount of sense because as far as I can tell, every 12-year-old boy just has like total shithead worldview. And
Yep.
like, so do
They're
we
either
as
12 or
12-year-olds.
44.
Well, yeah, yes.
It's like
It's
Bill
either people who are
Simmons
12 or people who never
or,
stopped being
yeah.
12. And like, yeah, were we total shitheads at 12, me and Waylon? Yeah, of
No,
course.
I was a
But
sweet
yes,
boy. I
uh-huh.
would tear
I
up reviews of Return of the
fully
King, negative reviews.
believe you. I fully believe you. Anyway, but here's the thing. We didn't have an entire YouTube and streaming ecosystem to assure us that our shitheaded 12-year-old politics were acceptable. And yeah, I'm not surprised that there's an overlap between like Andrew Tate followers and people who think Anthony Edwards is God's gift to basketball. Because Anthony Edwards off the court is basically a tremendous shithead who can't keep it in his pants and
Yeah.
tries to bully all of his baby mamas into getting abortions. Not a good dude.
Yeah.
Fun to watch, you know.
He is a good player.
And I hate to say it, but like in a sports world of varying stacks of things you can do to hurt other people.
Yeah, we're not worried about it comparatively.
Yeah,
Seriously.
you
Like,
got to get to like you got to be this tall to be on the problematic ride, and it's a picture of Justin Tucker. So, um, but yeah, I do
but
think
for
we are
football
headed
reasons
towards
today.
yeah, I do think we are headed towards a true haters semifinals. I guess these are technically the semifinals. A true hater conference finals, which would be the Nuggets, the Warriors, the Pacers, and I'm going to still say the Celtics, although I'm sure from your
Yeah.
perspective it is the
No,
Knicks. I don't see
look,
the Knicks. I think they stole their one game, and this is still going to be a gentleman's sweep.
I
But
don't think we have it in five,
it is
but I
very funny that the Celtics, that the Knicks did not get a single win against the Cavs or the Celtics during the regular season, and then all they really needed to do to barely eke out an overtime victory was a historically poor 3-point shooting performance from the Celtics. Better it happens now than in Game Seven, a redo of
Rockets
the
and
Rockets.
Celtics against the
Yes,
Celtics went bad.
and
Yeah, I
and and
was
we do need to address yet another James Harden playoff meltdown, I think, at some point.
yeah. So let's go in order. I was gonna do my kind of apology for not watching all the games. As like I'm usually a watch the games person. I like watching basketball. Go figure. But I did watch the Celtics. Except I turned it off at overtime. When it went to overtime, I was done. They had lost the game. I knew they lost the game. Tatum continued to play his step back three bad shot for the win instead of driving,
Mhm.
despite him and JB being like awful. Uh, yeah, there were the occasional Derek White grit moments that were awesome, but Celtics team, and I'm not trying to be a doomer about it. I mean, I know everyone loves this if you're not a Celtics fan.
Mhm.
Um, but they're not, they're too banged up. And I actually really don't think they're well coached anymore. I think Missoula is a math merchant, um, who is closer to an MLB manager than an X's and O's coach. I felt like the vibes were pretty bad when he was yelling at Jason Tatum to get up when he was actually hurt.
Yeah, that was one
Um,
of the weirder moments. And we've been saying well before the Celtics
yeah,
had
I've
this
been on
game that
this.
Missoula, his shit will be tolerated as long as the Celtics are winning. And the second they're not,
I think
he
we're
is
going to
out
get
the
to that
door.
point really quick.
Yeah, especially because the reports are coming out that um
We're
the
moving someone. I think
they're
those were,
looking to cut salary. I mean, Drew
yeah, I
would be
mean,
the
we knew
obvious, but
that.
like
We knew that.
how do you move that
Probably just
contract?
KP goes. I don't know. But yeah, I think the Celtics go out to the Cavs, and we are in a jinx off to that.
Yes, we are.
But I do genuinely, whereas before I didn't believe that, now I believe that. And I don't know, they could still win the title, but they're honestly not that interesting anymore. We kind of know who they are, and if they get hot and healthy, sure, they'll win the title. Awesome for me. But
Mhm.
I don't really see it. And so that really opens it up elsewhere. And there's nothing interesting to say about Knicks Pistons or Celtics Magic. So we can get rid of this bottom.
Um,
I mean,
I don't know. I
you
mean,
have
I
anything about the
think
Pistons?
I'll talk about
The
both
ref ball?
series. Yeah, this has been a very unusually refed playoff so far.
Or usual for the NBA?
Yeah. I mean, like I think like Nuggets Clippers was refed reasonably well. Rockets Warriors, I don't think was as bad as the Warriors claimed it was, although yes, the Rockets were targeting Steph's thumb. I mean,
Good.
that's just how it goes. But like, I mean, a very chippy series, very physical, and ultimately, I think it probably should have been settled with a boxing match between Draymond and Dylan. And if we get a double TKO, everybody wins. And then Celtics Magic, I mean, the Magic do kind of play dirty. I mean,
Yeah, they
there's
did.
a
They did.
very
But you know
fine
what?
line between like playing dirty and physical D. But I think the Magic really do seem like they were out to like injure the Celtics rather than actually win the series. It was a weird series. And the Knicks Pistons was just badly officiated, just straight
Yeah, that was
out.
bad.
I mean, you had Tom Thibodeau whining that uh Jalen Brunson wasn't getting the calls that Cade Cunningham was getting, which is just, I mean, utter nonsense in a vacuum. Then you had the blown, I think it was game 4 that the Pistons should have won on the bad call.
Yeah, it was game four. Pretty
Yeah.
positive. It would have evened the series. They went down
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah. I mean,
It
and
was
like,
in Detroit too, which made the blown call even weirder.
right.
Because
I'm
if it were a home court blown
usually
call, I'd live.
I am usually a don't blame the refs guy in any sport because if you lost because of a bad call from the refs, you didn't do enough to put yourself in the win. Um, I get a good example was like the Super Bowl where there was a really ticky-tack OPI on like the first Eagles drive. Everybody was saying, "Oh, Fix is in for the Chiefs." Eagles didn't give a
Yep.
shit,
That was a
belt to
really bad
ass.
call.
And
Yep.
then later there was a on one of Mayhom's sacks, strip sacks. It was
Mayhomes.
blatant. What?
Patrick Mayhomes.
How
It's
do
one
you
of your
pronounce it?
wonder. Mahomes. What's with
It's Mayholm.
Mayhomes?
It's
It's not.
Mayholm.
It's Mahomes. Go on.
Mahomes?
It's
Mayholms.
Mahomes.
Whatever.
The
But
pronunciations
anyway,
go
he
crazy.
took hands to the face and fumbled. It should have been called against the Eagles, but at that point it was like 40 to I don't even remember what the score was at that point. It was a total blowout. So no one gave a shit. I think the only person whining about the refs after that game was Nuke Hopkins, and we are never going to hear from him again. So in general, I say if the refs blew a call and you lost a game, it's because you didn't do enough to win and put yourself in that position. However, I do think the blown game 4, if the Pistons win, it really changed the tenor of the series. I mean, you're talking
Yeah,
about
I mean it did.
at the very least, it goes 7 games, and who knows what happens in a game 7. I don't know. I do think the Pistons got screwed a little bit. I certainly don't ever want to see the Knicks or their fans happy, except in the series against the Celtics where things were
Yeah, I
very
know.
funny. At this point, I'm sort of hoping for a mutually assured destruction where nobody comes out of that series.
If you were neutral, I would fully understand doing my let the away team win every game rooting strategy with our two fan bases. I will say Pistons fans don't deserve it. Some of them. There was a lot of like, at least we don't have to get whooped by the Celtics. It's like, man, we're not that good. Like, we're Celtics are not that dominant where you've got to be afraid of us embarrassing you. We're just not.
Yeah.
Um, and you want your young team to move forward, like pure cope. But let's move on to some of the other series, only because our famous time limits on whatever platform we use now.
True.
We should dance on the Lakers' downfall a
You're
little.
you're you know what? I believe in I'd have to go back and look at the bracket, but I believe I had the Timberwolves winning. As it turns out, you still need a front court in the modern NBA.
Yeah, that Mark Williams thing really killed them.
Yeah, and like he played the rest of the season just fine. I mean, I'm sure he has long-term back issues, but to me it just sort of felt like Palinka coming out of, like opium haze or whatever drugs he takes, realizing, oh shit, I don't really want to trade our first rounder for a guy with chronic back issues. But the Lakers season was weird. I mean, when it first happened, I said, how does it benefit either team in the near term? It makes sense in the long term to build around a guy who basically just dragged a mediocre team to the finals. But how are they going to acquire the players to build around Luca? How are they going to get an actual defensive center? Like,
I
how are
think
they
they
going to
can
find a
lock into
secondary?
something.
I know it's the Lakers. I mean, they luck into Luca,
I
but
know.
I don't know. I mean, they're in a weird spot. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if LeBron just retires altogether.
I wouldn't
Um,
either. or goes
Yeah.
back
I mean,
Cleveland or
what does he have left
whatever.
to do? What does he have to prove? He wants to be an owner. He's not going to be an owner while he's playing. I mean, this is sort of how it goes. So
I had my bracket up. I did pick the Timberwolves, so hooray for me. I'm not gonna dance on Luca's grave too much because even though I'm a hater, I got everything I wanted, and now, like stealthily, I'm finding myself liking Luca a little bit more. For whatever reason, I really hated Dallas this whole time.
I don't think you
Might
hated
be a lot of it.
Dallas. I don't think you hated Dallas so much as the way Luca got treated on the way out was like very,
It
I
was
don't
pretty
know.
bad.
It was pretty bad. It was
It's
not
pretty
what
bad. It's hard not to feel a little bad for him.
Yeah, and
Um,
and I didn't really appreciate the typical goldfish media hot take of, well, it turns out Nico Harrison was right. I'm like, shut the fuck
oh
up.
my
The Mavericks didn't
God.
even make the playoffs.
Yeah, execs
Anthony
are now
Davis has
saying they did the
died.
right
Shut
thing.
up. Yeah, I mean, this
So
is just
stupid.
typical. Like I for whatever reason, I've been paying more attention to like when because ESPN just is constantly shitting itself and eating its own self shit rather than presenting sports and presenting its media talking heads. So I've been paying like closer attention to like the Stephen A. Smith clips they post on the main website. And like he will contradict himself from day to day. There is no I don't know what the word is. First of all, they never admit they're wrong about anything, ever, ever, ever. That
No,
has to
correct.
be, which is just drives me insane. Like I am wrong all the time,
I,
despite joking that I've never been wrong in my life. But like,
dude, I told my philosophy professor once Deflategate and Donald Trump's rise are related. I still believe myself. Sports media and Donald Trump's rise.
I
Look at it. Just, I have a feeling if you wanted to make me prove it, I couldn't. But I trust my intuition at this point in my life. I just do.
that is another podcast, I think, and I would love to cover that ground at some point. Although we're not turning this into a
No.
leftist media podcast.
Well, we
This is
have
just
twice,
about
but yeah.
I know, but this is just a moratorium on the first round. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy for the. I'm sort of happy. I am happy for the Timberwolves. I mean, Ant sucks as a person. Rudy Gobert sucks as a person. But like, I
I
like
don't
most
know
of the
if I'm
rest of the
happy for the
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves, but I think
I would
is
love to
A-Rod
see
owning
them.
yet?
Huh?
Is A-Rod owning yet?
I think on paper, the Board of Governors has to do like whatever final approval. And as far as I'm aware, that is not until the off season, but I
Okay,
could
so
be wrong on that.
he wouldn't raise the trophy, which is like a
I
plus,
don't
I mean, I guess
think
plus
he
3,000
would. Let me
odds,
look up
but
Mark Lore's in 2025 arbitration panel ruled in favor of Lore and A-Rod. Yeah, final transfer awaits approval by the Board of Governors. So like,
yeah,
yeah, I
so
don't
it's still the
think
other guys.
that's off-season business. I don't think they want that, the icky whatever weird dispute between one billionaire guy and another billionaire guy. Um,
Well, it's the same as the Celtics. It
have
would
you
still be
we
wit.
need to do a Mark Lore podcast at some point. Are you familiar with Telosa?
Not really. I don't really get
We
what's going on
we
with any of
have
it.
to talk about Mark Lore another time. He is such a weird fucking dude, even within the confines of being a tech billionaire.
Just really
Um,
quickly, I was way off at the odds. I was just guessing. That would
mhm.
be like plus 3,000, which is wrong if that's what the Pacers is. But plus 1,100, really, like yeah, Timberwolves have
I
a shot. I
I'm
don't think
locked
that's
in on my
correct.
Celtics bet from February, but I hedged my bets and put another 10 on the Warriors at plus 2,400. I mean,
I don't hate that number. I'll tell you
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, the Warriors, they're a weirdly built team, but Jimmy Butler has, and we'll talk about the Warriors Rockets a bit, or I guess we already did, but
Yeah, we can do it
Butler
now.
has clearly, with his foul baiting, unlocked another level of floor spacing for this team.
Yep.
And Buddy Hield is just genuinely like the ultimate joker. Like he can go 0
That
for
was
11
cool.
and kill
That's the
you.
one part I
He could,
respected.
yeah, he could go, 8 for 15 and save you. I mean, he's basically their J.R. Smith, but I think a little less unhinged. So a little
Yeah,
less fun, but like clearly clearly if they're going to make the finals, he's going to have a couple more games like that, and it's plausible. Steph is ageless.
And is Kaminga even seeing the floor? No, right?
No, no, they're
Like
done
they
with him.
don't, they hate him.
I have seen speculation they may not even offer him as an RFA. I don't think they would do that because he's still a good trade chip, but I think
Hmm.
his time in Golden State is over,
For
and I
sure.
think he
Send
will
him
be
to
traded.
literally like Indiana, one of the mid-market teams, see if he can do something
Yeah,
there.
he may be a future Nugget. They may try to figure something
Love
out where they
that.
get out from the MPJ or Aaron. Well, they're not going to get rid of Aaron Gordon, but the MPJ contract. And I don't know. I mean, the Warriors love taking on other teams' reclamation projects. I mean, they made Andrew Wiggins look competent for like what, a season and a
Yeah, he
half.
killed us.
So MPJ, I mean, may come back around on the Warriors. It's not the craziest idea. Um, but
I can't wait for
anyway.
Steve Kerr to retire.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean the Warriors, I think, we'll see how tonight goes against the Timberwolves. I think if you're the kind of person who believes, length and size and physicality matters in the playoffs, you will take the Timberwolves. It certainly mattered in the series against the Lakers, and I don't know who the Warriors like front court is. I mean, it's like, I mean, who's left? I mean, Draymond is listed as their five right now. It's Steph, Podziemski, Buddy, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like I
that's
don't think they're
right.
playing Quentin Post or Dewey Santos or
They're playing small and then they're trying to get weird guys who I'd never
yeah.
remember in
Yeah, it's
minutes.
going to be a weird series. It's two very different styles and lineups, but I mean, ultimately, I trust Golden State's sort
I
of
do too.
veteran dickheadishness over what the Timberwolves bring to the table. I mean, Draymond is just he's still a great defender. He is still
Spacer, just good
yeah,
decisions. Yeah, I
yeah, and he
think this
still
is
just
pretty
knows how to
easily
bother
six or seven
people.
games.
Yeah.
Um,
But I do think the
you,
Warriors are going to come out of it.
yeah,
Um,
you could talk me into like Timberwolves in five. And
I
just the
don't think
matchup. I don't think so either.
unless
But just
someone
that the
gets hurt.
matchup
If Butler's
is
hip
so
acts
bad.
up again, I mean, maybe
Yeah,
Timberwolves in
then all
six,
bets
but
are off.
no.
I'm just saying the matchup makes sense where I could see the Timberwolves rolling and becoming
Yeah.
like, oh, they can do this. But I think Golden State drags it out, and I
It
don't know. I'm back and
it's
forth. I think they might just win it though.
yeah.
Annoyingly, because I don't love believing in them. But yeah,
No. It's
I
annoying.
see it. And
Um,
then Oklahoma.
well, let's move on to the OKC. I want to talk a little bit about the OKC Memphis series. Not surprisingly a sweep.
Did you watch like a
However,
minute of it?
I watched a
I
bit of it and I wanted
I
to
don't know
say
if I watched more than five
I
minutes.
think I messaged you about this because I wanted to say that I was developing a hot take about Shea being fraudulent and that getting exposed in the playoffs, where now that he can't foul bait, because this was one of the series where the refs decided to swallow their whistles a bit. Shea really looked pretty crappy for 3 out of the 4 games. Yeah, let's see here. He shot 30% in game one, 34 and a half game two, 38.5% game three. He picked it back up in game four, but he still shot only
But
25% from three.
you
And in the
know,
loss to the Nuggets, he shot 46%, which is fine by his standards. But if the Nuggets won games, I mean, he shot 7 of 9 free throws. So so far in the playoffs, Shea has averaged
while you're doing,
how
I'm gonna
many
say
free
I'm gonna
throws?
counter.
He's
Just
averaged 6.8 or no, sorry, 8.4 free throw attempts. So what is that relative to his okay, 8.8. Maybe not that big of a difference, but the playoffs are where the margins matter. And if there's 2 or 3 extra points a game that Shea's not going to get because the refs just aren't giving him the foul calls he gets during the regular season, that's going to catch up to the Thunder eventually. And it's already caught up to them a little bit after they dropped game one to the Nuggets. Although I think most people are happy to blame the Nuggets, or sorry, the Thunder's strategy towards the end of the game with fouling up three, which didn't work for them.
Can I propose a counterpoint?
Sure.
No.
No.
Yeah. I think you're wrong. I think Shea's fine.
Okay.
Um I don't know. I
I
don't know.
said it was a
I
hot
think
take. I said it was a hot take. I mean, it's
no,
really only been 3 games where he's looked bad, and it was
I
against a
think
totally
I think the
overmatched Grizzlies
Grizzlies
team.
are so like I think they were toying with them to a point where like if I couldn't watch any of that seriously after the first game. And then the Nuggets thing, I do think this is going to go to 7. I do think Joker is just that much better than Shea. I think he's
Yeah.
clearly a step above him. So I
Hmm.
agree with you.
And it
But I
comes
think
down
Shea
to
will be fine with the
What
team.
are the Thunder's other guys going to do? I
Yeah,
mean, the
exactly. And
cracks
I
are
think they'll
there.
be fine. Um, I think Shea is on Jason Tatum's tier of
Hmm.
player, which is elite, awesome. He's going to have those games where his numbers are just a little below, but at the end of the day, they're just numbers, and he's kind of playing to the matchup and can usually get it in the big moment, but against someone like, I mean, and the Nuggets win, it came down to, I think it was was it MP who, I don't know who hit the three,
Aaron
but
Gordon,
Aaron Gordon
who
hit
has
it.
really become, I mean, I know Jamal
It was a
Murray's
very
had some
nice three.
big games, but like Aaron kind of
Jamal
feels like
Murray's
their
not,
second.
I think so too.
Yeah, he's become their second best player, I
But
think.
I think Shea will be fine. I don't think they're depending on him to be an MVP type guy, or at least not an all world type guy. I think he's
Mm.
a tier below, and that's fine for the way the Thunder are constructed because I do think everyone around him can just elevate. And I wish the Thunder were gonna fall, but I don't think they will. I think the Nuggets will push them.
Yeah. Can I
I think
say
whoever
something?
comes out, go ahead.
Well, just you said earlier, you made reference to being convinced that the Timberwolves could
Yeah, I hate it.
win in five. I could be convinced the Nuggets sweep the Thunder.
Yeah,
Like
you
I
could
could be
convince me
convinced
five
that
on matchup.
this is just them being punched in the face and that they showed last year that this team is not built to handle adversity in the playoffs and the Nuggets will just roll. The Nuggets have good vibes now. They got rid of Calvin Booth and Mike Malone and they're just going to roll. I could be talked into it. I don't think it's
Calvin
going to
Booth
happen,
Malone.
but I could be
Um,
convinced.
I also could be. I see that, especially. Let's go back to a favorite hobby horse, the NBA Cup. They blew that.
Yes.
Now, does it matter at all?
Yes.
Probably not anymore to them, but it should. And I think it might. I mean, I think it might be a little preview, and they could just be the new Celtics, and keep running into hurdles as they go along. They're still extremely young, untested. I think they lose a game to Denver's crowd, so that's
Mm.
already two. I
Yeah,
think
I
they
mean
lose
that seems obvious.
I think they lose a game to Jokic just in general. That's 3. So yeah, I do think this goes 7. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I
If
mean
they
Jokic.
don't,
I
if
think
they,
Jokic is truly a level above everyone
I
to a
agree.
point where it's not close, and it's really dumb he hasn't won 5 MVPs in a row. But whatever.
Well,
I
yeah,
think he might be top 5 all time.
he's close to it. I mean,
Like if you just go by skill. So like now he's clearly above Bill Russell, who I would have number one in kind of one ranking of it. But like clearly by skill, Bill Russell, teleport him, he's way worse than like every player today. If you're going purely by skill, I mean, I don't know who's done better than Jokic. Jordan, LeBron, sure. Kareem, I guess. But it's a short list, is my point.
yeah.
And it's not SGA.
Um,
And I thought very funny was this idea of them chanting free throw merchant at Jokic when they have SGA. Uh, Wonderful irony to that. And
Do you think the Oklahoma City crowd, and bear in mind that I view Oklahomans as just
I
the
think,
dumber versions
hold
of
on, wait, I
Texans,
can
do you think
say
they
this.
understood that they were being ironic or no?
Whatever happens to the Gormans tonight in Star Wars Andor, I'm going with your
Ander,
pronunciations.
Ander,
Well, look,
Ander.
I'm on beer too. Um, whatever happens to the Gormans tonight in that show should happen to everyone in the Oklahoma City crowd. And I'm allowed to say that because I don't know what happens tonight, but I'm co-signing it. My mother actually.
It's going to be really funny if the Gormans die because a guy being run by the Imperial government blows up a truck or whatever outside their building.
Well, yeah, you kind of have a lot of the plot of Andor.
I have not
Like
watched any of Ander,
you
so
have a lot of it there.
I need to catch up.
My mom has the electric take of absolutely hating the Oklahoma City Thunder. She's not a basketball fan
Why?
because of the white shirts that they all wear in the crowd. She thinks
That's
they're a cult.
completely reasonable.
She,
She's correct. I would say
she's
most
totally right.
residents of Greater Oklahoma are probably in a cult, depending on how you feel about mega
Yeah, probably in a
churches.
cult where they wear white,
But let's not.
specifically.
Oh, gee, that's another angle that I didn't consider. That's more like
I'm sorry, Oklahoma
the
City.
South, like the deep South, and or like rural Indiana for some, and like Maine for some reason. I don't get Maine.
Actually
Maine.
where I grew up had the first, yeah, doxing myself, but old Rhode Island has some ugly ties. Anyway, we have 8 minutes. Who haven't
I
we covered who we need to?
we haven't really covered the Nuggets Clippers post-mortem. I would
Oh
like for
yeah, that
you
was
to
good.
dish on one final nail in the coffin of the James Harden legacy. I will say I Harden was for whatever reason a favorite of the NBA subreddit this year. Admittedly, a lot of it was you know Schadenfreude over how the Sixers handled his exit and their subsequent collapse, which fair, the Sixers deserve it. But I am a hardened non-believer. I don't like him. I don't like his style of play. And I have to say, the ironing is delicious, as they say that
Yeah.
a bunch of the stupidest people in all of the basketball internet space all rally behind him to the point of convincing basically everyone convinced themselves that Kawhi was back and that this year would be different for the Clippers.
Ah, you're
No,
stealing
it
where I'm
is
going with this.
never, ever, ever different for the Clippers. You do not ever have to believe in the Los Angeles Clippers.
No,
I
not until they
cannot,
move back to San Diego,
yeah,
which they
that
never will.
which they never will.
Apparently the
So
stadium's nice. I was gonna say that Kawhi Leonard's gotta love that James Harden's there right now because
I forgot you're kind of a Kawhi hater, aren't you?
no, I mean, yeah, a little bit. I do. I don't know. I've gone back and forth, but I honestly thought he might be like a top 10 all-time player back when it looked like he might win 3 titles in a row on 3 different teams. So I've definitely believed in his game, but he's annoying to me as a fantasy player, of course, in all his resting. Um, I didn't. I felt bad. I don't think either of us watched much of Game 7 of that game,
I
which
was at
makes
a
us both
luxury suite at the Columbus Crew, Charlotte, whatever the hell they
the
are.
only MLS team I'll respect, the Columbus
Yes.
Crew.
Really
Um,
fun
I
game.
was
Columbus
I
won
was
4-2. I got pretty buzzed on free alcohol
I
and
was also at a soccer game right
oh,
before it, the Rhode Island FC one, and then I
oh,
came
nice.
back and watched a little.
Yeah,
But
we had it on
we
in the
didn't pass the
background.
Jokic real fan test
Yeah,
that
no. I
he
mean,
had, where he said you had to be a real fan to watch or whatever.
it was very ironic. It was a total stinker of a game. Harden just absolutely embarrassed himself.
Again,
Again, there's nothing else you can say. There are certain players where I don't want their playoff failures to be their legacy. Russ Westbrook happens to be one of them. But yeah, this is your life, James Harden. I do not think you are ever going to win a ring a
oh goodness, no, it's
as a
already
significant
over.
part of any team. And you know what? He's 36 in August. Kawhi clearly this was Kawhi's, I think, last shot. I mean, he clearly sandbagged himself to save himself for the playoffs. He was mostly good in the playoff series, and it didn't matter at all because, again, it's the Los Angeles Clippers. They are one of those franchises that just has a permanent black mark against them. Um, Too bad.
Yeah,
Steve
if I
Ballmer deserves
wanted to get
nothing.
deeper into it, I'd want to know. I watched a lot of the series early, and Zubac was kind of the interesting Clippers player for real, like Zach Lowe podcast listeners. Which, by the way, Zach Lowe, I can't do 2 hour shows, buddy.
Wow.
40-minute time
You say
limit.
Zach Lau?
You're trying to get
I'm rubbing
me
off on you.
back. You're trying to get me back. I don't think I did, but it's an and or Tuesday, so I might have said anything.
It's Yabu Tuesday.
They've transitioned into we've gone from Yabu Tuesday to Luthen Tuesday. Anyway, I'd like to know how Zubac played in that final game, but you know what? For James Harden, I do just feel like this doesn't matter too much. He already had his reputation. I think the deep secret a lot of people are complaining about or realizing now in NBA circles is that most NBA game sevens are no better or worse than any NBA game. You cannot really control whether a basketball game is good or bad to watch. It kind of just comes down to the shooting on the given night. um, I don't know. It was not a classic. It was pretty decided. The Nuggets just came out better, and it was super unsurprising because they have the best player in the world, and the Clippers have James Harden. So, I mean, it's not meant to be as hateful as it sounds, but yeah, I don't respect them that much. I think I did pick the Clippers. I think I fell. Oh no. Oh yeah, I did. I fell for the Clippers trash, but that's on me.
Did,
I listened
did
to the
I
Zach Lowe's of the
did
world.
I pick the Clippers?
I also thought Mike Malone was a good coach this whole time, and apparently he's just evil.
Yeah,
Like
I actually picked the Clippers to make the finals, which was and then lose to the Warriors, which was truly a mistake on my part. Like you, I mean, I did pick a deliberate haters bracket, and I thought the Clippers beating the Nuggets and the Thunder was the haters pick. But then it became clear that, at least after that game seven, that the haters pick was always the Thunder and always James Harden blowing it. Um,
our
I
our
still
next
think the
live
Nuggets
stream,
will beat the Thunder. That's the haters pick now, but
our next live stream is the
yes.
NBA lottery. If
Yes.
anyone's listening this deep in, that is you should
th
listen to that
we
one,
are
I
going to have a
think.
very special episode, our first live stream. We will live stream the
I might be able to
lottery.
get YouTube to go live.
Yeah, we will live
I'm gonna
stream
try and work on it.
our reactions to whoever actually wins the lottery. We fucked up picking Miami because they made themselves ineligible by winning the 10th seed. They fucked that up
I've got the
entirely.
Hornets.
Um, it's not going to be the Hornets. I just hit a sim and the Sixers won.
Ah, don't even start.
The Hornets came
You don't.
second, Brooklyn third, Chicago
If
fourth.
it were Sixers Hornets 1-2, I would rename the podcast I'm buying a gun. I would finally do it. I wouldn't care.
Adam Silver, you are
I don't
going
have
to
a
be
job
black
next year.
bagged. What?
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that later, off camera. Anyway, good night, folks. For once, we won't be cut off
Ooh, I like
mid
that. Yeah, we're professionals.
conversation. We're so professional now. Good
All
night.
right, farewell. We did it. Did we do it? I think so.